Hi, this is the third video in the bicycle assembly series. In this video, I'll be demonstrating the handlebars installation, and after we have already set and installed the stem. Here I've just placed the handlebars onto the stem, and now I'm finger tightening the screws to hold the handlebars in place so I can finally adjust it after that. Okay, I'm taking tool needed for that, and I'm also placing some anti-seize paste on the bolts so they do not, since they are made of steel and the stem is made of aluminium, I don't want it getting galvanically corroded and seizing. Here I'm using this tool to quickly screw the bolts in after first turning them in by hand in order not to damage the threads. Use caution, especially if you are using carbon components like carbon bars or stems or both. Make sure to use carbon mounting paste and to make sure not to over tighten nor leave the too loose without enough torque on the bolts. Okay, now I will demonstrate. Here I'm using just the feel of my hands to initially turn the screws a bit in until I can feel they're starting to tighten, so that the handlebars can now still be relatively freely moved. I want them put in a position that they will be set in when the riding is performed. So there I'm setting the position and the angle, and now I'm using still just the feel of my fingers, and I'm in a cross pattern, tightening gradually by 1/4 or 1/2 a turn each bolt. I'm diagonally going. That is important. I will also put a link from my website that explains how to tighten it. And here from my experience, when I hold the Allen key this halfway through, it usually does not exceed the needed torque for the bolt size that the Allen key is used for, but it is safest to use, of course, a torque wrench. Here you can see the diagonal pattern of moving tightening top left, then the bottom right, then the top right and the bottom left, and I'm doing it like in a small circle and gradually tightening each one. It is important to do it this way because that way you're making sure that no bolt is left too loose nor too tightened, over tightened. This tool is precisely set to maximum torque of just about 4 Newton meters, and in this particular case I can surely rely on it to give me the optimal torque for tightening, because it will not overdo it, and since the bolts are lubricated with some anti-seize. And for this demonstration here I'm using this is the safest thing to do, to use a torque wrench. There I'm setting it up to the optimal load, tightening load in Newton meters, and here I'm using again diagonal pattern of tightening all the bolts, and I'm doing it crisscross and gradually creeping up to the optimal tightening force. I don't want to do it all in one go. I'm making like small incremental adjustments, and then for a final tightening I'm here doing it like less than a quarter of a turn before the torque wrench clicks and signals that the required torque is achieved. After that I'm just trying to be on the safe side and checking again that there are no loose bolts. Here it is not at this stage that much important to do it in a diagonal pattern. This is just a final checking if everything is fine and tightened in place. This procedure concludes the tightening of the stem bolts and mounting the bars. There I'm showing again the pattern, and we will in the following videos proceed with the assembly of the bicycle with other components. Thanks for watching. Cheers.